YouTube, today we're going to be ranking the new meta in Call of Duty Warzone. Let's go. All right, you guys, so I just got back from out of town. I was in Vegas celebrating my brother's bachelor party, and guys, this meta is one of the best I've ever seen. There is so many different guns that are meta right now. I have 21 guns for you today that are potentially meta weapons and builds for these guns. So if you guys have not been here before, we'll be ranking these weapons from S through D tier. And honestly, they're probably gonna, like in this video, guys, like S and D, there is a very small gap between. Like realistically, these are all meta weapons. But I'm going to give you guys my opinions on each and every one. And literally, I'm going to have a screenshot of a build that is the best build for this gun right now. And if you guys don't trust my builds, you can watch all the videos that are on the channel that show off them. And I'll be explaining to you guys what kind of weapon's going to work for you. Your D tier weapon might be the best for someone, but the S tier might be the best for someone else. So it's a weird meta right now where there isn't a specific meta, which is great for the game. Like, I am ecstatic that we're not getting killed by the M16 or AUG every single game again. So let's jump right into this, guys. All right, so the first gun we're going to talk about here today, guys, is the AMAX. This is the best gun in the game, hands down right now. It's probably going to get nerfed. They even said it in the patch notes that we're watching it, which pretty much said, like, I've never seen that in a patch notes before. So that means it's going to get nerfed, essentially. It definitely is the strongest, but it's not broken by any means, especially comparing it to, like, the AUG or the M16. It's just better than the other guns. It has better range damage and has just as much damage up close as other weapons. So, like, you really can't beat it right now if you guys aren't running this in your specific primary AR. I even picked up one the other day. Someone was running as an SMG, and I was like, this thing's actually really good. So it's going to get nerfed at some point, but it is the best gun currently on April 26th when I'm filming this. And you can't go wrong with this gun, guys. You just can't. There's nothing else to say about it. We have the AK Cold War AK here, guys. So this is actually being more used as an SMG. When I saw the changes to the recoil, I was like, oh, is this actually going to be like a little bit of a primary AR? No, everyone's using it as an SMG right now, guys. And honestly, I'm going to put it at that S tier. We had Biffle running it in the tournament this weekend. Yes, I was out of town, but I was watching still. I was following because I know I got to have my stuff together for you guys. So the AK right now with this build that I'm showing you guys today is an SMG. And it is really good, guys. Like, it has a crazy time to kill. And if you sneak a headshot in, people just melt. Because these Cold War weapons have very high headshot multipliers. So if you haven't used them before, if you sneak a headshot in, they're going to just literally vanish. So this build right here, this gun, definitely S tier for me right now. Everyone was kind of using it this weekend in the tournament. So I imagine that this is the best SMG/side weapon compared to that and one other gun in here. I don't want to ruin it yet, so we'll get to it. But there is a couple other ones that we are running off meta right now, or ARs that are being ran as SMGs. So very good, guys. The AS Val to me is going to fall into that B category, just because realistically I am a competitive player at heart. In a 1v4 situation or a 2v4 situation, it's really hard to kill multiple people with this gun. It has the fastest time to kill in the game up close, and honestly, it melts people. And it's really fun to use on Rebirth Island, and it's really fun to use in a solo duo game, but it just has a 30-round mag. It drives me nuts. If it had a 60-round mag, this gun would be out of this mind, broken, completely meta. But the 30-round mag is always going to be the equalizer of this weapon. It's good, don't get me wrong. I know there's a lot of people out there that will probably ream me in the comments for putting this at B, but I'm telling you, that 30-round mag is a serious issue. But it's a really fun gun. You guys should try out the build I have here, and it is a laser. The Bruen, I would probably put at B as well, just because I'm not a humongous LMG guy. At the end of the day, the LMG is not mine. If this was Nick Mercks's, he'll probably put it at an A or even an S. It is a legitimately good gun, though. The Bruen, at the end of the day, has very easy recoil to control, great range, good damage up close and all ranges. You just can't go wrong with it. But for me and my playstyle, if I'm pushing people, I just don't like LMGs that much. They have to be absolutely broken for me to fall in love with them. I know a lot of you guys in the comments are going to be like, why isn't the PKM on this list? The PKM is just the worst version of the Bruen, in my opinion. And you can say that the Bruen has more recoil, but if you were a halfway decent player at this game, no offense, you should be able to control the recoil that the Bruen has, because it really is not like there isn't an issue with it. I'm telling you. So if you want to use an LMG, practice using the Bruen. It's probably your best option. Arguably, there's one other one on this list that we'll talk about, but it's good. The Fennec. Some people will be like, the Fennec made this list? The Fennec made this list. The only reason I put the Fennec on this list, guys, I'm going to put it at C tier, is because since his guns came out, it has a ridiculous time to kill. Like, it is the fastest time to kill SMG. If you're up close with someone, it has a terrible time with range. So if you're in a building with someone with a Fennec and you're like, what the heck just killed me so fast? It was probably the Fennec, because like the Fennec absolutely melts people. But it only has a 45 round mag and it flies through it. So you cannot miss. You literally, this is probably one of the highest skill cap and like technical weapons to use in the game, because if you don't do everything perfect with this gun, it just doesn't work out at the end of the day. Time to kill is ridiculous though. If you guys are looking for something that's easy, this build has a nice hip fire and a good aim down sight. It's just like, you miss a bullet, you're not going to get more than one kill. Like, if you're in like a short range battle, that 1 to 2 kill range where you need to pick off 2 people, it's tough with this gun. One person's pretty easy, but 2 people, you can't miss a bullet. The M4 from Call of Duty Modern Warfare. So this gun is interesting right now. I think I'm going to throw it into the A tier. I know a lot of people aren't really running it as a meta right now, but I think it's slowly going to work its way in, just because on average, and when you look at the stats of the gun, it does great at all ranges. It's always been that good all-around weapon. A lot of people use it in kill races for that, because if you accidentally have it out in a short range fight, it still does pretty well. I think it's going to be coming up the list a little bit here, guys, just because at the end of the day, it doesn't do anything bad. It's a very solid all-around weapon. You can either use the Grenadier barrel or the Commando barrel on it. Pick your poison. I think the Grenadier barrel might be a little bit better right now. If you guys haven't tried that lately, try it out. Why not? It falls into A, though, just because overall consistency. There's a lot of these guns on this list here that are just weird, and like the builds feel weird, and I can explain that a little bit more because of the stocks on the Cold War weapons. Like, you literally are like flying strafe speed, so which I would love to see some strafe speed changes to like some of these SMGs, so we can get more SMGs in the game, because we shouldn't be using AKs as SMGs. But M4, very solid gun, guys. The Grau, I am gonna put the Grau in this list, probably B tier. It has a pretty slow time to kill, but it has no recoil. It's one of the easier guns to hit your shots within the game. A lot of people love it. You have to hit headshots if you really want to compete, though, against something like the AMAX. If you don't hit those headshots, it has a pretty slow time to kill. But with that no recoil, the build I have here, someone's hitting on a head glitch, you can literally just shoot them straight in the head because there's no recoil. So, end of the day, very consistent gun, just kind of like the M4, but I think you have to have deadly accuracy to really make it work. The M13. This is like the little brother to the Grau, to be completely honest. I love the M13, guys. This channel was actually built off the M13. Like, if you go back to my very first videos, it was either like the Grau meta, M4, or the M13, and the M13 was like my baby. I was like, Cloaksy is really like the dad of this gun. I'm like the baby of this gun. Like, I love the M13. It's so much fun, but in this meta, guys, it's hard to rank it because, like, literally it melts people if you hit every shot. But if you do not hit every shot, like, it falls into that same category as the Fennec to me. If you miss anything with this gun, you're just not killing people. It's a pea shooter, some people say, because they can't hit their shots. But there is the games where you are just locked in and you do not miss, and this gun fries people. So I'm going to throw it in and see. Nothing too terrible with the gun. I do think it is somewhere in this meta, though. The Kilo. I think the Kilo... The nerfs really did this gun in. Like, you have to hit like 14 body shots at long range, which is pretty ridiculous. I think every other gun's around 12. If they put this at 13, it would have been viable, but 14, that extra 2 shots is kind of crazy. I want to put it at the same category as the Grau, because I would probably put them hand in hand. Yeah, let's do it. It's because, like, there's like almost no recoil on this gun. You can hit headshots because the vertical recoil on it just like goes up and down in the same spot. There's no recoil, but it has like that slight vertical. So if you're just holding it down firing, you're going to sneak a couple headshots in there. So we'll throw it in at B for the time being. I don't know where it could fall lower on this list. Could go higher on this list. People love the Kilo though. So this build on it, If you don't know this build, you probably just started playing Warzone. It's been the same build for a long time, and it's really good. The MP5, oh, I'm going to mess this up. This is the MP5 from Modern Warfare. So the Modern Warfare MP5, I'm going to throw in at... I'm going to put it at B tier, because I would put it ahead of the Fennec, just because this gun is the easiest SMG to use in the game. Like, you can literally not aim down sight for the entire game and just hip fire people, and you'll be just fine. Obviously, you want to aim down sight at some point or another, because it's probably better in some situations, but you literally don't have to, because the hip fire on this is so easy. Like I said, don't do that. It's not good for you. But if you are looking for an easy gun to use, it has a crazy fast time to kill still. Like, it's still top 3 or 4 in time to kill for SMGs, and you can just not aim down sight. It's really easy, guys. I promise you, if you guys are looking for stepping up your SMG game, you feel like you're losing a lot of SMG fights, level the MW Modern Warfare or MP5, and it's super easy. We have the Bullfrog coming in next. I'm going to put the Bullfrog in at A tier. The Bullfrog is an aim down sight weapon. The hipfire isn't terrible on it, but you have to aim down sight on it. Good time to kill, almost no recoil, good strafe speeds. Gun does, if there was one gun I could wish we could just like make the SMG meta, it'd be the Bullfrog. This gun is perfectly balanced. Like, it's strong, but not broken. It's not weak in any situations. Like, the better player is going to win with the Bullfrog almost 90% of the time, but it has really good headshot multiplier, and it is just a solid SMG, guys. You can't go wrong with the Bullfrog. You just can't. Next, we have the Ram 7. The Ram 7 is going to fall into S tier for me. Some people like to run this as an SMG. Some people like to run it as an AR. I personally think I run it as an AR 99% of the time over the SMG version. But the Ram 7, almost no recoil. People that say there's recoil on this gun just don't know how to control their recoil. No offense. It is very, very solid, and technically has one of the fastest time to kills in the entire game, because especially at range, I think it's actually number 1 or number 2 in at range, but it's really hard to hit every shot because the fire rate's really high. It's not that the recoil is an issue. It's just when people are moving that fast at that range, it's so easy to just slip a shot to the left or right of them when they're running. It's a very, very solid gun. I've been using it for a long time. It hasn't been touched. Definitely going to be the meta once the AMAX gets nerfed. Like, people haven't really started switching over to it yet because the AMAX is just that main AR, but this is probably going to be the second. Like, if you want to rank this, it goes AMAX and then RAM right now, in my opinion. Next, we have the FAR. So everyone wanted the FAR to die in the season. It's going to be the only gun I'm going to put at D tier right now, is because I haven't done enough testing on it yet to really put it ahead of this. Like, it doesn't feel great right now, but the time to kill is still solid. Someone might find a secret build and make this thing work, but to me right now, I just don't think it can compete with some of these other weapons above it. It's solid though. You guys know, no one wants to use this gun anymore. We used it for the last 2 seasons completely, and everyone's sick of it. So hopefully it stays at D tier. It's definitely like viable though. Like, you can use this gun still. The Krig. This gun's interesting, guys. So thank you guys to anyone that did watch my Krig gameplay last week. I think it's the best specific gameplay view-wise we've ever gotten on. We got like 20,000 views. You guys are absolutely insane. I'm going to probably throw it in at it's between A and S. I'm probably going to throw it in at A tier, though, just because you have to hit like upper body to head. Like that, so there's neck damage in the game now, apparently. If you don't hit that neck to head area, the gun feels like a pea shooter, and the recoil isn't the best control. So there is some inconsistencies with this weapon. But if you are on fire that game and you're kind of just smacking people, Krig melts people, guys. If you guys watch that gameplay that got 20,000 views, I absolutely melt some people, and then there's some people that like take a couple extra bullets. So drop like 19 kills in that game, and honestly, I love when you get to use a new weapon that's a little bit different. Like, I would not mind the Krig being the meta because there's a very high skill gap with this gun. So I think it's solid. I wouldn't say it's broken. It's not going to be for everyone, though. If you don't have great accuracy, Krig's probably more of a D tier for you guys, to be completely honest. The MAC-10. The MAC-10 is going to fall in at, I'm going to put it at A tier still. It's solid. Very, very solid, guys. You can't really go wrong with this gun. It's the same thing as it was before. It said in the patch notes, -1 damage or like a 1 damage nerf. Don't even know what that means. I think it's just like 1 damage at all ranges. With that much fire rate, You really can't tell the difference. It's still very, very strong. It might even push in the S at some point, but you can't go wrong with the MAC-10. Ever since it came out, it's been strong. So that's pretty much all we got on that one. The XM4. I told you guys about this gun. I told you. This gun's very good, guys. It's going to fall into that same category as the AK right now, where we're using it as an SMG/offhand. It's really good. It has a good time to kill. It's not as good as another weapon we're going to talk about because it takes 2 headshots compared to 1 to make that kill time to be faster. But if you do sneak a couple headshots in with this gun, and honestly, if you just shoot bodies, it's still really fast time to kill. Like, you really can't go wrong with this weapon. Obviously, you want to break it down to the exact science. J God has done it recently. Gun's really good. Like, it just really is solid. There are some guns that are better than it, but in my opinion, in this meta right now, it's easy to use. And everyone knows what the M4 feels like. Everyone knows what the XM4 feels like. It was ground loot for the last 2 seasons. It's just solid, guys. You can't go wrong with it. The build I'm showing you guys today, if you guys want to swap out a sight for the grip on there, go for it. Or the stock for, I think it was a stock instead of the, and put a sight on instead. Go for that if you guys want. It is very, very solid, though, guys. Like, it's legit. The Cold War MP5. I'm going to put it at the same level as the other MP5. They're basically the same time to kills. I think the Cold War MP5 is better if you like aiming down sight, though. It has a higher headshot multiplier compared to the Modern Warfare one. But the skill cap's a little higher, honestly. Like the Modern Warfare one, you can hip fire. This one, you can build a hip fire build for it, but I don't like that hip fire build. It doesn't feel as clean as the other one. So if you're going to hip fire, use the Modern Warfare one. If you're going to aim down sight, more outplay potential, Cold War's you. Go for it. Either one, flip a coin. The Gallo 12, guys, is a beast right now. I'm going to put it at A tier because the reload time takes forever on it, but it sucks running into buildings right now. Like, honestly, not a lot of people are using it at the highest level because of that reload time, but if you are in a building and someone does have this Gallo out, you will die. There's no gun that'll beat it in an up-close battle. It just has ridiculous damage. 2 to 3 shots, automatic kill. Next, we are trying to talk about the FARA. There's a lot of S tiers in this right now. And the reason I put in the S tier, so many of them, is just because I think these are the best guns in the game right now. Like, that's the meta. Like, these are the meta, in my opinion. You're running the AMAX, and then you're running either the AK, the XM4, or the FARA. And that's going to be your go-tos on sidearms. You can also throw, like, the Bullfrog or MAC-10 on there, or the Gallo. But, like, if you're running that SMG combo, and you want the extra movement, you can run an SMG. But if you don't care about that extra movement, and you just want the best guns, the FARA literally has a crazy time to kill, guys. Like, it is ridiculous. It feels a little funky, though. Like, you have to practice with this gun. You'll watch pro players, and you're like, oh, they make it look so easy. If you don't practice this weapon, it will feel weird to you guys, and you have to use your strafe speed. These Cold War ARs with these Raider stocks have crazy strafing speed. And strafing is going left to right, if you guys don't know. I already brought it up once. It's like moving, like you're doing those jump B-hop shots. If you guys don't know that, we'll have a movement guide eventually come out. If you haven't, there's other ones out on YouTube. I know Joe Woe is the movement god himself. Test them out, guys. This gun is ridiculous, though, right now. I don't know if it's better than the other two, because just off of pure like feel, it doesn't feel as good as these two, but stats-wise, it's a beast. The Stoner 63 to me is going to fall into C tier, just because the recoil is a little weird. I don't love the recoil on it. I'd rather use the Bruen because the damage is pretty similar. But the Stoner is legit. It is a legit LMG, guys. If you guys want to like throw an LMG out there that isn't the Bruen, test it out. The time to kill feels insane sometimes, especially if you sneak a headshot in. It's crazy. I don't love LMGs, like I said, but the Stoner is good. The Stoner is very good. And then last but not least, guys, the LC10. People are going to call me crazy. People are going to come at me. I've been saying it. The LC10's nuts. This is the best SMG in the game right now. Movement-wise, it feels great. No recoil, great hip fire. Aiming down sight speed, super easy. The only thing that's kind of weird about the gun is the fire rate. It like has that weird fire rate, but it's not an issue. Like, it's super easy to hit the shots. It's kind of in the same area as the Bullfrog for that fire rate, but I just think the LC10 does everything just a little bit better than the Bullfrog. Just a little bit. Very minimal. It's like we're talking like right on top of each other. LC10 is good, guys. It is very good. And if you guys have not tested it out yet, seriously, go level it up, test it out. You don't even have, if you did the Battle Pass last season and you got that blueprint, you only literally can change, like I have the foregrip on here. I eventually want to level it up and get the field agent grip, which I am doing currently. And that's the only thing I would swap on this build. The rest of it, it feels so clean, guys. But that's going to be it for me today, guys. We have our S through D tier. We have the AMAX is the best weapon in the game currently. And then throw everything else as a sidearm to it. For the most part, you have your off-meta ARs. They're not off meta. They're all meta right now, which is great. This is one of my favorite metas we've ever had in Warzone, and I am so excited to grind, guys. If you guys haven't came out to the live streams, we're grinding all the time on there. If you guys haven't liked the video or subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you guys do drop a subscription. Helps me out immensely. I want to do this full time someday and just give you guys the best content we can give every day. Hope you guys do like these loadouts, all of them, everything. I appreciate you guys. Let me know in the comments what I can do better on these, what you guys like. Let me know. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and peace out.